is Muzang Chungi in Lahore, and I'm Aiza Omar. You're watching For the Love of Food. The reason I'm really here is to see why is it that Muzang Chungi's parathas are so famous. You will have to bear with me as I am incapable of saying parathas as they should be said. And we're going to be testing not only the parathas but the lassi here and the tea. So before I get eating, let me first show you how it's all done.
In this quaint makeshift corner shop of sorts, the rush never really subsides. Though they are doing good business, the owners haven't really thought of expanding. After all, replicating a system like this takes a lot of time. The sheer efficiency of it all is remarkable. One man prepares the dough and adds the fillings, freshly prepared twice a day, every day. The fillings range from the functional potato and radish to the slightly heavier chicken or ground beef. The real heroes of the day, the waiters, swarm about serving them to the patrons, cars parked legally on the curb. The menu is simple yet refreshingly appetizing. And on the side, you can order their legendary lassi.
There's a myth that says that anybody who has lassi early morning is bound to fall asleep. Now, I've been here to this place and I did try it out, and it seemed that the myth was not busted at all. You do tend to fall asleep, if not on the wheel, then eventually. So why not take the risk and try it out once again, because the taste is divine. So what they do really is they've got some milk in this huge canister. This is fresh milk, it's cold, and it's also got almonds in it, so that gives it that extra flavor. They've got lovely ice that I just saw on the side of the road, but that's not a reason for concern at all. Moving on, they take some yogurt, which has been made here overnight in these clay pots. It has an absolutely different flavor altogether, very different from those store-bought yogurts. They throw it into this nice steel pot here, and they mix it with the milk, and once that is done, they also throw in some sugar depending if you want meaty lassi or you want peaky lassi. And then they transfer a cup or two into this pot over here. Do something like this with the... Isko kya kehte hain? Something, yeah, they call it something. And what this does is it creates a lot of froth. So there you have a very tempting glass of lassi right there with lots of malai, lots of cream on top. And I am going to have that. Yes, I'm going to dare myself to try that once again. Mujhe bhi zara please ek cup, ek glass pass kar dein. Thank you. Wow. Ooh. It's good.
A paratha might not demand the kind of preparation time as a filet mignon, but it's not exactly fast food around here. Good thing I've got this lassi to keep me company as long as I don't fall asleep.
So here's my breakfast. I've been waiting for this for a long time now. This is a aloo anda paratha, and it's really hot, so I'm going to wait for it to cool down. Now, the interesting thing about this place is not just the food, it's also the ambience it has to offer. I mean, where else will you get people walking in, selling baby carts and kamar buns at the same time? Where would you get to see a view like this? Right at the side of a very busy intersection, watching cars passing by, blaring horns, people swinging punches at each other. It's really something. I mean, it's worth coming to. Besides the food, which I will be tasting right about now. It's nice and warm and not really breaking apart as I expected. Oh, this is good. This is pretty good. And since you're so sluggish in the morning that like usually people are, you don't even have to bake away an egg and, you know, make a little bite-sized piece out of it. It's all mixed together. So convenient. Breakfast on the go. Crispy. I love that about parathas. Crispy. crispy. They have to be crispy. Not so crispy that it hurts when you chew on it, but crispy enough. Pretty good. And with lassi. From a roadside cafe having parathas, we find ourselves in a 5-star hotel, really fancy. And one of the biggest food companies in Pakistan are launching their own brand of ice cream. They call it Amore, or do they call it Amore? I'm not quite sure, but I promise you by the end of this, you will find out. So I'm gonna go in and see how the launching ceremony of an ice cream takes off.
The hustle and bustle of media people and the company workers confirmed my suspicions. There was going to be free ice cream and lots of it.
It's apparently started, but what I find disturbing is that there's a little fire beneath these platters. What happened to the ice cream?
In the mad rush over the buffet lunch, we finally get hold of the brand manager for Omore Ice Cream, Mr. Faryan Mama. It's the moment of truth for him. His innovation and attention to the finer details of the colors of happiness are finally being put to test. Before I get to ice cream though, there's a promise I need to keep.
They call it Amore, or do they call it Amore? I'm not quite sure, but I promise you by the end of this, you will find out. How do you pronounce the name of this ice cream?
It's Omore.
Omore.
Yeah, it's a coin name. We've coined it. So what it means is, oh, more ice cream. I want to eat more and more ice cream. It's more delicious for me.
Okay, but you do have an accent at the end on the E, which technically makes it sound like Amore.
It does, but we want to keep it simple.
So it's like a design thing.
It's a design
It
element.
really
but
doesn't mean anything.
It gives a lot of character to the logo also.
You think so?
I think.
Now, tell me also a little about the target market. I've noticed the prices are very economical, and you've got quite a lot of variety. So what exactly are you who are you targeting?
In terms of the product, we've got products which range from ₹5 all the way to ₹150. So your multi-serve, your breaks and your tubs are for about 120 to 150, and then your single serve really vary between ₹5 all the way to ₹30. So when it's an ice cream, it's for the masses, and I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy it.
So how are you going to market your product? I understand you have more to this launching ceremony. There's something else lined up for today.
Today at 3 o'clock at Liberty Roundabout, there's going to be some plane droppings and a banner which is basically...
Hang on a second, you said there will be some planes dropping?
No, plane droppings. Basically, there's going to be confetti.
I've heard of bird droppings.
Confetti. That planes are actually going to drop.
Planes will be dropping confetti on people.
Exactly.
Have you advertised it? Will the people know that this is going to happen, or is it just confetti all over the place?
It's just going to happen. People are just going to, if you listen to our jingle also, it starts off with pigeon, kabutar, uran, fly, lake, dekho, asman, sky. So when you look at the sky, we've got different activations happening on air, on ground. And then we've covered the canal also, which is basically water. So we've gone on air, ground and water.
Your ice cream is melting.
Thanks.
Okay.
We left Mr. Mama to lap up the fruits of his hard work. I wasn't about to give up a chance to proudly present to you Lahore's first case of plane droppings. Faryan Mama's words rang in my ears.
Pigeon, kabutar, uran, fly, lake, dekho, asman, sky.
Even plane droppings lose their magic after a while.
Yeah, this is like cleaning up for them. This is not fun.
All this excitement made me hungry again. It was time to get some lunch. Right at the corner of Masjid-e-Shohada sits the legendary Baba Cholewala. The man has been serving the streets of Mal and beyond for over 6 decades. His clientele includes the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his younger brother Shehbaz Sharif from their student days at St. Anthony's School, outside which he now parks his cart. A bit of a Willy Wonka in his own right, he granted us a tour of his inner sanctum. Here, in this small rented kitchen at the end of a dark alleyway in Mazang, is where the magic happens.
This is a newspaper of Dawn dated 1995. Babaji has just showed me for the sole reason that he's on one of these pages, a picture of him selling naan chole at the side of a road in his car, a little pickup he used to have. And what really catches the eye is this statement here: he is among the happiest of men in town. And I can understand why the reporter wrote this, because despite the dreary atmosphere here and then the shabby look of this place, the fact that Babaji is so into his work is really something. In here, he has about 7 kgs of chanas boiling. There's a lot of steam coming out. He's just put them on. There have been no spices in here yet, so it's just going to boil for about an hour. The stove is incredibly huge. It's a gas stove, a little cylinder over here. He says the gas connection is really hard to get in places like these, so he's making do with this gas cylinder for God knows how long. Probably a big pedestal fan here. Yep, that's a fan. And a makeshift trolley in case that one doesn't work or it's broken. And he's got a poster for a stage play. Nellene Dela. No idea why he has that over there. You've got sieves, you've got incense, and a whiteboard. Maybe he wants to write down the speciality of the day.
Babaji must have noticed that I didn't make the right mms and ahs sounds. Relentlessly adding spices to my plate, he tried to speed cook. Don't try this at home, please.
He just threw in soda on my plate of chanas. I could just have soda like that. Baking soda, that's... Apparently it's a garnish in this part of town. Soda. Babaji's eager beaver that I should try them. So he's not gonna wait for the ingredients to cook into the chanas. He's just throwing it on top. Acha bas. Oh ho ho. Bahut ala. My mouth is on fire. Flavors of the masala are so raw, which is why it's a good idea to wait and let it cook and not get on Babaji's head. This is what happened.
So with my tongue seared with putrid baking soda, I decided to head out and catch up with him for lunch. Later that afternoon, the chanas tasted remarkably different.
Honestly speaking, I didn't expect much. The best cholas ever. I am taking like 2-3 days meals home with me today. So good. It's the black pepper, it's the chutney, the imli with it. Really good concoction, well cooked.
Babaji might come across as happy-go-lucky, but the man has his problems as well. Selling chanas by the roadside has become complicated over the years.
Well, the anti-encroachment drive which Shahbaz Sharif himself has started here in Punjab very aggressively were the same guys who tried to lift his trolley off the road and put him out of business. But he said he will be talking to Nawaz Sharif Saab himself and get
Parathas for breakfast, ice cream and chanas for lunch. Where's the meat? Oh, there's meat and lots of it, so stick around. Lahore Hotel stands overlooking the ever-famous Lakshmi Chowk. If Lahoris hold anything responsible for the reputation they have earned as foodaholics, it is this place. It teems with roadside hotels and one-table operations. This part of Lahore has many treats to offer. But our indulgence tonight Shifa's Keema, the place that promises the best minced meat dish in town. As I soon learn, ordering a plate of minced meat isn't all that simple. It starts with painstakingly picking out the perfect run from the random array of meat, and it does not help that the arrangement oddly resembles a troupe of upside-down zombie flamenco dancers.
So I've chosen the run I want to have for dinner, and it will soon be converted into keema, into mincemeat. But before that happens, let me show you what else this place has to offer. Let's take a quick look. Whoa!
The desi chickens, with an expression of utter resignation, caught my attention. They were perched over their cages, attached with a bit of string, waiting to be slaughtered.
Here we have hearts. All these parts belong to a goat. Many goats, numerous goats, and we have kidneys right here, brains over there, lots of brains in these little packets, very convenient. And then you have gonads. I'm not going to elaborate anymore. So you have desi ghee and you have butter, pure butter. So it's really the choice of the customer. I mean, if you like desi ghee, you want to try desi ghee, or you can just simply go for pure butter. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to go for, but let's see.
My little investigation into roadside goat anatomy allowed the butcher enough time to pass the mincemeat for my food onto the cook. After pressure cooking it in some water with only onions added, the fun begins. As the chef seems to proceed with reckless abandon, I can't help but wonder.
जिस स्पीड से आप मिर्चें फेंक रहे हैं, क्या याद कैसे रहता है आपको?
बस ये जैसे कंप्यूटर में ज़हन ऐसे हमारा भी अल्लाह पाक ने ज़हन दिया हुआ है।
He says he has a brain like a computer and he can keep track of all this food. 15-20 साल से आप इसी दुकान पे काम कर रहे हैं? And thrown into this, dude, I'm going to lose my hair. And that is going to get cooked a little more. Oh, check. This is what happens to those chickens. They just die right in front of you. He's screaming out for help.
Well, that's the reality of eating meat, I guess. Meanwhile, Mr. Sharif, also known as Shifa, does the rounds, making sure this well-oiled machine functions smoothly. Once basic ingredients like ginger, onions and tomatoes take their full effect, spices are added to the mix.
Here we have some green chilies right in there. So इसमें लाल मिर्च भी डालते हैं और हरी मिर्च भी डालते हैं.
Black chili.
Black chili, काली मिर्च. So they put in black pepper, which is interesting again. I mean, you usually don't see black pepper being used in desi cuisine, that's for sure. All right.
The final touch comes with the addition of desi ghee. Time for me to take a seat with Mr. Shifa himself and sample his masterpiece.
ये कुछ 40 साल पहले शुरू किया था। पहले मेरा बड़ा भाई होता था, वो बहुत हो गया। फिर मैं करता रहा। फिर बच्चे जवान हो गए, बच्चे बैठते हैं। मैं कौन से उनको बनानी था।
जो शिफा कीमा पहचाना जाता है, उसकी जो रेसिपी है,
हाँ जी।
वो जो जायका मिर्च मसाला जितना जिस हिसाब से डाला जाता है,
वो आप खाएंगे तो आप फैसला करना।
नहीं, वो तो मैं समझ गई, मगर वो किसने बनाई थी, किसकी इजाद किसकी है?
वो हमने की।
अच्छा।
इससे पहले कढ़ाई गोश्त का ही रुझान था।
Eventually, my patience is rewarded and I break bread with the man himself.
It's really yummy. I mean, it's better than home-cooked meal. I've always said that there's nothing like home-cooked meal because you're so used to it. But this, by far, this is incredible. You guys are missing out on a lot. So eating for today and tonight is pretty much done, but as you can see, Lahore around me is not quite asleep yet. But I do beg leave as my energy is pretty much gone. So I will be seeing you next week with even more interesting food adventures. Meanwhile, you write in on our email address, which is flf@dawnnews.tv. Till next time.